Hi guys, and welcome to the first Savage Sunday of the new year. I hope you all had a good Christmas and a great new year. We're kicking it off this evening as we're finally back trading tomorrow, which is the 6th. So let's go ahead and get started. It's going to be basically me going over a few pairs to see what you get as part of Athena and part of an analysis group and how to actually set up your chart. So start with USD Japanese. As you can see on the daily, we're looking for daily turning points, which we have here and here. As you can see, been used multiple times here. As you can see, now we're setting up our zones. Where's price forming at the moment? We have this little area here. Now, what I'll be looking for after open is I'll be looking to see how we actually react to these levels here. Now, if we start to get rejections on a lower time frame, I'll possibly be looking for buy situations back up into this zone. Why here? Because we have these major turning points here as well. And with the overall downward momentum, I'll be looking for possible buys back up into this situation. Now, if this happens, I'll then be waiting to see how this area responds. Could it possibly break through and push back up into these high areas here? Or are we looking for multiple rejections before a drop back in below these levels? And then looking at possible breaks and retests of this zone to take further back into these lower areas here. So you'll be looking at possibly take it back into these lowers here, as you can see to the left. Again, nice major turning points that you're looking for, which are here. Now, that's all depending on how we open. As you can see, we've been a large bearish momentum for the last few days. So what we'll be actually doing now is waiting to see how it reacts to this zone. If we can see on the 4 hour, we can see it's starting to reject already. Now, I'll be waiting for multiple rejections after open to see actually where it goes. It could possibly open up here in these areas, but we will wait and see how it responds to this on USD Japanese. But overall, that's what I'll be looking for. What to keep an eye out on as well is if we do manage to push back up into this higher zone here, keep an eye on this FTR zone here as well. Now, you'll be looking for possible sells here. So you're looking for possible rejections at the FTR zone, possible rejections at the break and retest zone. If we manage to get these, we will definitely be looking for sells. First target, again, you'll be looking for these sort of areas here. Why here? Because this is the first resistance point that it's going to actually encounter. If we then do get these back in these zones here, we'll be updating as we go throughout the week to see how we manage these areas here. But that's everything on USD Japanese for me at the moment. If we move on slightly to USD CAD, overall, let's look at USD CAD. How is it looking overall, right? So we're in massive downtrend at the minute. Let's get our trend lines in here and here. I like always looking for trend lines that are clear turning points, right? So, and always top of the wick. Don't be putting your trend lines through the second touch, always on the top of the wick on the second touch. This tells us the most important price level. Now, we do have a trend line inside here as well, so starting from here and here that covered this. As you can see, again, looking for clear, nice clear turning points here. Let's identify them now with a clear turning point here. And here, straight across, as you can see. Also, these filled in as your turning points as well. So these are just stuff to keep an eye on at the moment. There and there, tied in pretty well. We also had this little QM level here that we'll keep in just to make sure that all our zones are identified now. But if we actually pull back out the zone, what we're waiting for now, we could possible, where it's sitting on the daily, possible pushbacks. Now, it's most likely to push back to this zone here, or maybe this one. It all depends on how far it pushes. Now, what we'll be looking for in regards to these zones is, again, can we pull back? Can we retest these levels? If we do, we'll then be looking for shorts again. Again, this all depends on how everything opens in regards to everything that's happened in the last few days in regards to America and what happened with the Iranian general. So we'll actually wait to see how everything moves there and how we open. Again, all we're looking for is how we move between turning points, how we move between zones. The reason I don't like stuff that's caught in the middle is I like stuff that's the price has clearly moved away from. Why? Because it clearly gives me somewhere that I can identify that it's crystal clear, there's been an important price, and it may want to visit it again. Now, in regards to this, how can we set this up? This is our first turning point here. Are we going to get multiple rejections here and possibly jumping back down into these areas? Now, where would our targets be if we get multiple rejections here and look for a sell position? We have to zoom out quite far to the left. Me personally, I'd be looking for this zone here. As we can see, we updated this earlier at our Instagram page as well. I would be looking for rejections here and here on the daily. Now, we may get these on the 4 hour and below, but this is what I'll be looking for. Price to reject these zones here and jump back into these areas here. Now, on the 4 hour, as you can see, it's been floating around in consolidation for quite a while. So what we will be waiting on is a push back up to these zones here for that sell position to form. That's if we do get multiple rejections. If we don't, doesn't matter, we'll actually regroup and see what we can, if price pushes up, we'll regroup and see what actually forms and go from there. Again, we don't have bias either way, we're just looking at possible ideas for the trades. Now, that's USD CAD. If we then move into USD Chef, clear double bottom now, and as we have got the clear double bottom, I'm fully expecting a push back up into these turning point zones here on the daily on USD Chef. This is overall what I'll be looking at here. I'll be waiting to see how it opens, but I do think we will get, as you can see here, drop back into this zone, very, very nice, and it's now, it's within its first candle, it's pushed off an engulfing candle. To me, this is going to actually push further into this area here, and then with this, depending on how we do, will we get rejections and possible sells back into this lower region here. But that's what we're looking on the daily for USD Chef. On the 4 hour, as we can see, becomes a little bit more crystal clear on the 4 hour. If we do get a push up into these positions here, that's what we'll be looking for. The only thing that I can see that it may struggle with is it's sort of rejected this FTR zone in the middle here already, there, but it's not moved and created a new low at all. So I'm fully expecting a push back up into this zone here before the drop back in here. Now, if we do get the situation where we do break through these areas, we can possibly look for areas on the 4 hour, which would be here, that it may reject and come back before forming a sort of QM trade to take further up. Now, that's just basically, this is how I'm setting out my charts. I'm looking for nice clear turning points and why the market would move in that situation. So that's USD Chef, what I'd be looking for there. At the moment, as you can see, clear double top here on Euro USD. Now, it's sort of stuck in this little, let me remove this here. It's stuck in the moment in this little consolidation area that we can see here. Now, we had the clear double top, which was there. Went again, finished inside, engulfed out straight away and started to move as soon as it touched this level. Now, the only thing we're sort of worried about here would be this area here that it's sort of struggling with. And we have the large trend line in as well here. So again, we're waiting to see how it moves after open. It's sort of sitting inside this zone. If we move this to the left, you can see it takes in a few clear turning points. Now, what I'd be waiting on now is a possible drop below here and then using this level here as a sort of QM, if we get anything at all. So if we drop below here and continue momentum, I would be looking for a QM to possibly form here before the drop back down into the trend line and this lower zone here that we identified as a turning point. Now, that's just on the daily, right? But on the 4 hour, we can see it dropped below, pushed back inside, and it's sort of floating there now. But what we'll be waiting on now is a possible drop below and possible rejections of the zone back into these lower areas. Now, if it doesn't do this and it pushes above here, well, again, just waiting on how it reacts. It may push above here, start to reject this level here as a possible continuation of a break and retest, or it may still struggle with this FTR zone on the 4 hour as well. As you can see, it came up and sort of rejected that before close. Now, it's simply a waiting game to see how we open and go from there. But I'll be looking for nothing else really on Euro USD. There's nothing really that appeals to me too much. If we go back to the daily, as you can see, very strong zones here as well. But again, simple waiting game. Again, NZD USD on the daily, as you can see, sat off a nice QM, believed it was going to maybe push back up to this zone. As you can see, it formed this evening star pattern on this QM level here, and it's continued to drop. Now, I'm fully expecting this continuation to happen back into these areas here, sort of turning point there as well, from here and here. So what I will be waiting on is for it to drop back into these zones here and continue that pattern. As you can see, it trended up for quite a long time. Now we'll wait and see. Now we have this overall daily zone in, but let's see how it reacts to this zone also on the 4 hour. As you can see, this zone takes in a couple of FTR candles as well, where a lot of buy pressure is actually jumped in here and here. So we'll wait and see how this reacts. I fully believe we will continue down here and under here. Now I'll be looking for possible breaks below here now, and then because we have this little QM level on the 4 hour, we could possibly be looking for sales in that position. Now, and then back down into these lower zones. Why these lower zones? Nice clear turning points where the market pushed away very strongly, and as you also see, they tie in very nicely on the daily as well. Now, that's what we'll basically be looking for, and what I hope happens over the next few days. Thanks for tuning in for the first episode. I know it's a very quick episode this evening, but this is just a taster of what we actually do at Athena. If you like it, please subscribe. We'll be uploading more content throughout the week. And other than that, have a great week, guys.